You'd be excused for thinking The Pale Blue Eye may be yet another true crime story to add to Netflix's collection, given how many true crime stories the streaming service has hooked audiences with in recent years. The new Netflix period crime thriller explores a fictitious string of killings that took place at a military academy in West Point, New York, in 1830 and is based on the Lewis Bayard novel of the same name. When veteran detective Augustus Landor is asked to look into a college murder, he soon finds himself assisted in his inquiries by a young cadet and poet named Edgar Allan Poe, who is portrayed by former Harry Potter franchise actor Harry Melling. Landor and Poe encounter a number of intriguing characters along the way, not least the Marcus family, headed by Dr. Daniel Marcus and his wife Julia, whose son Artemis is deeply ingrained in the intricate social structure of the academy, and whose lovely and enigmatic daughter Lee comes to the attention of Poe. However, as the investigation goes on, numerous disturbing details about each character are revealed. In 1830, following a grisly murder on the grounds of the West Point United States Military Academy along the Hudson River, Captain Hitchcock and West Point Superintendent Thayer sent for Landor. The body of a young cadet was discovered hanging from a tree by a frozen rope. However, it is not the most startling aspect of the incident. The deceased's heart was severed the following day, according to the coroner, Dr. Daniel Marcus, Toby Jones, who states that someone broke into the institution and did it. A young Southern cadet, who is also a wordsmith, was appointed by Landor. Poe is the name of the strange duck from the South. Yes, the eminent poet was a West Point cadet prior to penning The Raven. In order to blend in at the institution and avoid standing out like a sore thumb, Landor gives Edgar orders to make friends with a number of cadets. Poe then develops a fondness for a woman who frequently passes out and has a persistent cough. One of the few evildoers on the West Point premises goes by the name of Lee. Shenpep and Lee's mother, Julia, have occult abilities similar to those of a professional medium. Another cadet is slain, but this time the heart was torn out non-surgically, leaving him dangling in the woods. This was quite unpolished. A third cadet flees for his life, but cannot be located. When Landor and Poe observe this pattern, they surmise that the man fled because he would be the next. Lee, her mother, and her brother Artemis are communicating with their great-great-grandfather, Henry Leclerc, from beyond the grave. Poe and Landor discover he was given a death sentence for using sorcery, but the physician claims Landor misunderstood him. Poe was earlier transported to a secret location where Lee tied him up, performed a sacred rite on him, and was going to cut out his heart. Why? To stop Lee's seizures. When Landor arrives, Artemis tackles him, which sparks a fire. Soon after, Lee is killed by a beam that falls from the roof due to the fire. Landor can save Poe and Julia while carrying his sister, but the entire roof collapses on them as Artemis is holding his sister. The military seeks to cover up the killings and fires Julia. But once the case is over, everyone is grateful to Landor for his efforts. It turns out, though, that the Marcus family was not responsible for the killings. Who was responsible for the cadets' murders? Poe notices that Landor's handwriting appears on the first note written by the deceased cadet. It emerges out that the detective killed the cadets. Why did Landor carry out the killings? The three committed the rape of his daughter. Landor sought retribution. He finished the job, but in flashbacks, his daughter jumps off a cliff to her death. What connection does this have to the Marcus family? For the sake of the rite, Lee and her brother pulled the heart from the body as they passed. Landor made it appear as though the second cadet's body was involved in the ceremony when he killed him. The note that could connect Landor to the murder is in Poe's possession, but he burns it before leaving Landor's house. Despite the investigators' obvious guilt, it appears that Edgar Allan Poe granted him forgiveness because of his relationship with Augustus Landor. The Marcus siblings' death also indicates that they are already deceased, which means that the truth may also pass away with them. We watch a shattered Augustus Landor return to the clifftop, where his daughter threw herself after her rape horror in a scenario that is purposely left vague. We are not shown what transpires there when he returns, leaving it unclear as to whether he went back there because he wanted to end his life and join his daughter in her fate, or because the memory of her and what he saw there had tormented his life so intensely. In either case, Augustus Landor's prognosis is as grim as the chilling Netflix drama's aesthetics.